Welcome back to episode 32, the Pretend Pundits. Me and Sean are back to pretend to know about football. As always, thank you very much for joining. Sean, how are you doing, mate?
I'm achy, I'm sore, I painted a fence, my back hurts, I just want to go to sleep.
Oh dear, yeah, we've been enjoying some nice hot weather, couple of days of heat in the UK. That's our summer done, pretty much. So thunderstorms it is tomorrow. We painfully bring you this week's podcast, presented by Manchester City's treble-winning team. And yes, before you ask me, I am going to be salty and bitter about it throughout. Just as I was last week when we lost the FA Cup, we're going to be bitter about it completely. We're also going to talk about West Ham's Europa League win, a little segment on transfer talk, and then a bit more about what's coming up. So, where do we start, Sean? Where do we start with Man City's treble winners?
Yeah, let's start there. It's painful, isn't it? It bought the treble. They've got 115 charges against them. Doesn't really matter. We're all in a fake reality. It doesn't exist.
No, you're absolutely right, mate. It's it sounds like a bitter thing to say, and I will admit it is, talking about the charges, who's the better of the treble winning teams. But for me, that is the case. We could be looking back in 2 years, 3 years' time and saying they actually got there through financial sort of fiddling. But we'll see when it comes to it. Obviously, that's going to be a long, long time before anything comes up about it, and everyone will probably have forgotten about it by then. Do you see this continuing into dominance, or do you think this is the peak and Pep's going to move on, players are going to move on, and they're probably still going to dominate the league, but not Europe? Or do you see it the other way around?
Not at all. I think this is just the beginning for them. I think Man City are an unstoppable monster. I think that as long as Haaland and Pep and De Bruyne are all there, we're going to see this for years, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you see Pep being there for long? Do you think he's just going to go and try and do it somewhere else now? Double treble winner?
I think he'll stay. I think for Man City, money is no object. They're just going to buy the best coach and pay the best wages and keep him there forever. He even joked about Real Madrid. He's only got 13 Champions League titles to catch him up with. So he says they're coming for him.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, while you're dominating, why would you leave? It would just be silly to leave, wouldn't it? And
yeah.
I think unless you start to see Liverpool start to really challenge again, maybe Newcastle starting to challenge with their new signings that they're going to get in, yeah, why would you even think about leaving? Welcome Internet is in the YouTube chat. Welcome back in, dude. I think this Man City team would 7 out of 10 beat the Manchester treble-winning team. It's a comparison I kind of struggle with making that comparison anymore because they're two totally different eras. We forget, they're just under 25 years apart. And this is one of the arguments why one of the trebles was better than the other. Man United won in more competitive circumstances in the league, arguably a harder run in the Champions League, but I don't believe that for a minute. Maybe the league you could argue, but no, it's hard to say. Two teams of two totally different eras. Do you know what I mean? It's a very hard comparison to make, but I'm always going to be biased, and I'm going to say, yeah, Man United's the better of the two. Treble again next season, then, Sean?
They could go on and win the quadruple. They're that good, honestly. They are. They've got every position, one of the best, if not the best in the world for every position.
Yeah.
Probably maybe a winger short, but and then maybe a left back, but they're just incredible. And they didn't play very well yesterday either, to be fair. The first sort of 40, 50, 60 minutes, they were probably the weaker of the two teams, to be fair. Inter Milan played some really good football, had some good chances. and then Lukaku himself.
Yeah, Lukaku did a full Weghorst and decided that saving goals is more important for your team than scoring them.
Yeah.
Evening, gents. Ben Ray's in the YouTube chat. Welcome in, dude. Glad to see you back, mate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. Like I said before, I can see the dominance happening for a number of years to come, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be a treble is a momentous thing, and if they go and do it again, then that's the debate settled, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They need we need a Southampton to sort them out again next season. Just imagine. Can you believe Nathan Jones, the only man who could stop him winning the quadruple? What a hero!
Was that one of his only 2 wins as well? Was it 2 wins that he got? Or was it 1?
I don't even remember. But
he was shit.
I have heard some of the most outrageous opinions today. Like, people are coming in. We've talked about the Champions League in the build-up, right, on our TikToks, on our Instagrams, and people have come in after the game's finished and started saying how much we disrespected Inter Milan. But I'm sorry, no one in the world had Inter Milan getting anywhere near competitive in this game. So, sorry, but it's easy to say after the fact. Yeah, I don't know. Inter Milan had probably the easiest run to the Champions League final as well. You can talk about the group stages, but what more can you say when you've got, who is it, Porto, AC Milan, was it, who did they have in the quarters?
Oh.
I can't even remember. It was just terrible. They've already beaten AC Milan in the league and Italian Super Cup as well, so that wasn't bound to be competitive. But Grealish at 5 a.m. was still in his Man City kit celebrating.
He is on the sauce. He's going to drink all night, all day. Even Edison, did you see how he looked like he was absolutely smashed being carried to the bus?
That was one of the things I hate, because obviously it's Man City and it's Grealish, but I love his celebrations, man. He's just too funny. Benfica, that's it, Hazy. Thank you very much. It was Benfica in the quarters.
I was going to say Benfica, damn.
But I'm sure Grealish is meant to be reporting into the England camp like this week. So what sort of state he turns up is another question. But yeah.
It's nice to see players celebrate, because I remember a lot of interviews, and I read Rio Ferdinand's book when I was on holiday. Mm-hmm. He was saying that they never got the opportunity to celebrate when they were players. Sir Alex Ferguson always said to him, you can celebrate your titles at the end of your career.
Yeah.
Now is the time for your trophies. And so seeing Jack Grealish going hard on this, and you know, he's going to wake up with an almighty hangover on Monday. Yeah. But play to him, you never see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but I'd say with that, it's probably not a case of you haven't seen it before. It's just now there's a camera for everything, right? You know, it's blasted across TikToks for a week, and there's more cameras on it. But Roy Keane, he's the sort of guy, he got told off because instead of going to bed early and getting a good night's sleep, he'd be going down the fish and chip shop getting a kebab after training. So that's what he was saying. But yeah, you don't stay young forever. Welcome, Internet. Where do you think Inter were the better team in the final? You could argue they were, to be honest. I don't think it was that far a part of a match on the day. But Inter, I expected, when Man City scored first, I feel like they scored on a bit of it seemed like Inter were playing strong at that time, and I felt like, is that going to kill it? It normally does. It normally swings completely, but no, Inter, you know, they didn't let the goal get them down. They had chance after chance to score after that. But I think, if anything, it was just more shaky from Man City than anything else. Maybe losing De Bruyne was a big factor. Mm. But yeah, it could have gone either way. Unfortunately, it did go the way of Man City. So yeah, it is what it is. We'll move on from that. Pep, well done. I'm still not having it that he's the best manager between him and Sir Alex, but it's yet to be seen.
Where do you think he ranks in best managers of all time?
In best managers of all time, he's second.
Second. Okay.
I think he is going to be overtaking Sir Alex. Don't get me wrong. He will.
What does he have to do? What does he have to do to overtake Sir Alex?
Just continue to dominate. Just
Got to win 13 Premier League titles.
yeah, and 2 Champions Leagues. And then we'll have a conversation. But yeah, I understand that he's done it Bayern, he did it Barcelona, blah blah blah. But I'm sorry, say what you like, but going and doing it in farmers leagues with the most dominating teams in the leagues isn't impressive. Doing it with Man City, okay, it's a more competitive league, but still not that impressive when you've got a sugar daddy funding you, with corrupt revenue and 115 allegations of breaches. But I won't mention that anymore this stream, I promise, maybe.
Quite amazing, really, that the owners of Man City, that Sheikh Mansour, has only seen the club. Has only seen him twice.
Yeah, that was his second ever game. He'd watched them live, yeah.
Isn't that amazing? You've pumped in £1 billion in something and you are that disinterested that you have only gone twice.
That was pretty...
That is just
yeah,
incredible. Like, if I spent £1 billion on something, I want to be next to it every single day.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from on that too, but I don't know. I don't think Man City fans will be too disappointed because imagine, right, okay, imagine it was on the boots on the other foot, right? The Glazers, I know for a fact they've been at more games than Man City's owners, but that's not a positive. No one wants to see them there. Man City fans are just like, look, you're running our club exactly as we want it to be done, except for maybe the illegal stuff. You're pumping in money, you're getting us the players we want, you're getting us one of the best managers in the world, manager rebuilding, just preparing for the future non-stop, investing, bringing up youth players, and they're doing all the right things. So them not being there doesn't bother them. If shit was hitting the fan, if it was Chelsea and the owner was nowhere to be seen, it would be chaos, wouldn't it? So it's all very subjective.
Yeah, I guess.
Welcome Internet says, where is John Stones in the ranking of best English centre halves? Do you mean currently or do you mean of all time? Let's debate both. So of all time...
let's just jump in on there. I think we should be talking about him as a midfielder currently. I think he's phenomenal as a midfielder. Pep's turned him from one of the best defenders in the world to one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah, Pep's been doing that this season, doesn't he? He likes his 3-2-4-1 sort of formation. Yeah. But purely on a centre-half basis, I wouldn't put him amongst any rankings of all time at the minute, just because he's had a wondrous season, right? He's improved. We've seen the very, very best of what John Stones can do, right? And I want to give a mention to my friend who's a Barnsley fan who said, are you going to mention the former Barnsley ball boy, John Stones, tonight? So there you go, John. I have done it for you. There you go, mate. But yeah, he's had a terrific season, but it's just yet to be seen how he continues it. I'm not going to start comparing him to Sol Campbell, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Bobby Moore. You can't. But he's the best English centre-back at the moment, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
You look at his competition, Maguire, who's just... We don't even know what Maguire can do at the minute, honestly. We need to see what he can do when he gets a move, but can't even touch him with a barge pole now. Eric Dyer, he's a footballer still somehow. Yes, he still is being paid to play football. Who else is there? Mings is okay. Dunk, again, another player probably on the Mings level. John Stones. Cody, yeah. I mean, another fairly average Mings level player. But yeah, Stones head and shoulders above everyone, I think, in terms of English centre-backs now.
What does he have to do to get into the best English defender of all time?
Just take what he's been doing into the next couple of seasons, I think. Just have
win a couple of Champions Leagues, a couple of Premier Leagues. Has he won more Premier Leagues than John Terry, for example?
I wouldn't have thought so. How many has John Stones got? 2?
Oh, no. He's been part of Pep's team for... Has he won 4?
I don't know.
Maybe 5. I'm not sure. But I bet their honours are pretty close now that he's won the Champions League.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'll check that out later. That'd be interesting as a comparison.
Yeah, and I don't think John Stones has ever racially abused another fellow player. So if he has...
There's time.
If he has, then we can compare him to John Terry. But until then, we won't.
Yeah, okay.
Next up, segment dedicated just for Ben.
West Ham.
And I think it would be rude not to talk about him as well, right? West Ham, They've won a trophy before Spurs have done, and they've gone and won the Europa Conference League.
Fair play to them.
Fun fact, this is the second ever Conference League. Both of them have been won by former Manchester United managers.
Wow.
So that's our claim. That's what we've won these last couple of weeks, okay? We're collecting this glory. We need it, right? We've got our energy drink cup, and we're taking the glory of, what's the word? Developing
vicariously.
Yeah, developing these managers to go on to great things, okay? But oh my God, David Moyes, someone checked in on David Moyes after running after Bowen. I'm sure he's definitely pulled a muscle.
He was so full of life as well. In all the celebrations, I've seen him dancing, I've seen him partying.
Yeah.
Somebody must have slipped him a couple E's or something. He was off his face.
Yeah. On a human level, I am absolutely made up for David Moyes. You know, he must have gone through an absolutely torrid time. Having Alex Ferguson turn up at your house or invite you to his house and say, look, you're the Man United manager, it's happening, nothing you can do about it. That pressure, you know, and he wasn't the right man for the job. Even if he was the right man, it wasn't done properly. But after he's been through all that, he's taken on West Ham a couple of times. People were calling for his head earlier on in the season just because of their league position. I don't think this is going to make West Ham fans particularly happy that they weren't competitive in the league, but he's certainly given them European football next season, and he secured them safety with, I think, 2 or 3 games to go, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we spoke about it on this podcast. I think he'd got to a point where they weren't winning games. They were in danger of going down, but they had the European jollies on the other side. And you kind of think, well, even if you do go down, a European Cup is massive for West Ham.
Yeah.
Do you take the European Cup and relegation? Thankfully, he didn't have to do that. I watched the game. It was scrappy, bitty, aggressive from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And they threw. Was it a bottle or was it a vape stick or something that made that guy bleed from his head? It just absolutely gushing. Got to wear one of those noddy hats.
Oh, I didn't see that. No, I think I did see, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it's one of the. Oh my God, who did they play?
Fiorentina,
that was it. Yeah, made one of the players bleed. He just must have caught something because he was absolutely gushing blood.
I did see that. It didn't look like much on the replay, but yeah, he was pouring
out. Yeah, I love it when players get one of those little noddy hat socks, and they're like the tape around it, and like the top part of their hair is sticking out,
like the cartoon characters that have just like run into a doorway or something.
Yeah, my favourite one that I've ever seen is Joe Allen when he played for Liverpool, and he had tape around his hat, and then it was like all up in a cone up at the top. I'll put it into the Discord channel. It is incredible. It's my favourite.
Bowen's on fire and he's shagging Danny Dyer. I heard such a weird story about that chant, right? He was the actual Danny Dyer, like EastEnders Danny Dyer.
Yeah.
He made some really bizarre comments about it.
The one where, did he say that he starts the chant sometimes when he's in the stands?
So he sometimes starts the chant about someone fucking his daughter, and he says how much he's just like, how he's almost proud of the fact that his daughter's shagging Danny Dyer. Like, I don't have children, but I'm sure if I had a daughter, I wouldn't be encouraging talk or chants about her getting fucking pummeled by a football player. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Nah. Yeah, a bit sus that.
So yeah, that puts them in a good spot then. Europa League football next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what they can do. I mean, they've been in European football fairly consistently over the last few years. So, yeah, maybe a bit of a one-off season for them. Do you think David Moyes will last next season too, or do you think?
I think he's immortal at West Ham currently.
Yeah,
winning that European Cup. Why not? Give him the keys to the car. Let him cook. Let him bring the players he wants, because I think one of the chairmen died this year, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was David Golden Sullivan, and it's not the little one that's died; it's the tall one that's died. And together they were just bit of clowns with regards to transfers. They would make the signings, but Yeah, give David Moyes the keys. Let him do what he wants to do. Bring Fellaini back if he wants to.
Yeah.
Nico Jelovic.
Um, Ben says the ref had an absolute nightmare. Ugh.
Mm.
Excuse me, which didn't help the West Ham fans. I don't condone throwing stuff on the pitch at the players. Yeah, it happened to Lindelof in the FA Cup final as well. Fans are just going to be fans, and they've obviously done nothing about it. Otherwise, we probably would have heard.
Mm-hmm.
The most disgraceful one, though, was that fucking Anthony Taylor one. I think we discussed it last week, didn't we? Like, was it the
abuse?
The Roma fans waiting in the airport, throwing chairs at his fucking daughter and family and stuff. Bang out of order, that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the tone that Jose Mourinho sets when he waits for him for outside the locker room or in the car park or whatever it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sets the tone for those. He says now, Roma fans, it's acceptable to throw stuff at cars and planes and whatever he does, daughters. Jose Mourinho needs to be stopped. You know, it would have been a great one for him. And to be fair, the penalty that they got last week was soft. So Jose Mourinho, I don't know what you're moaning about.
Yeah, he's had a few in his time as well, to be fair, though. So
yeah,
and obviously pictured is Declan Rice. We've speculated on his future. Everyone's speculated on his future. Arsenal coming out strong contenders for his signature. What do you reckon the price will be, and how do you reckon West Ham should invest that money?
I think if we sign him for 100 million, that is high,
100
but
million.
good business. But we have to sign him down for like 7 years or something.
Give him a Chelsea contract in 8 years.
Yeah, because if you can't have a player like that that's just cost you 100 million on a 4-year deal, you have got to sign him for some big boy time, or even have some extensions and clauses and stuff. Sign him for 5 years and have 2 years extension or something. I think he's a very good player. He's probably, thinking about it, if you look at the England CDM role, probably one of the best CDMs that England have ever had. Naturally good CDM role.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to play him there if we do sign him. I think that we will act fast, contrary to Arsenal transfer targets. We need to flirt with a player for 4 months and then sign somebody else because Chelsea have signed him. I won't rule that out on Declan Rice either. I think that's entirely possible. But yeah, 100 million, be a good signing. Maybe play him in Xhaka's role as an 8.
Yeah.
Let him carry the ball forward, bit of a box-to-box midfielder rather than a DM. But West Ham, yeah, if they reinvest it and they get top quality striker, I know they've signed, was it 56 strikers that have scored less than 10 goals or something mad?
It was something like they signed in the Sullivan era, David Sullivan era, they signed 56 strikers and 18 of them hadn't scored or something.
Yes, it's some madness, yeah. So get a top quality striker that's proven. Fill up that court. I mean, I saw reports of signing Calvin Phillips on loan. That wouldn't be a bad signing. Calvin Phillips is just a B-Tech Declan Rice.
He is his fill-in for the England team, isn't he? So it would make complete sense to get him. But the striker thing for me, that's West Ham's biggest issue. Like, Antonio can do it, but not consistently. Danny Ings, what the fuck was that all about? Let's be real. Skamaka, again, on his day is fine, but a proven goal scorer doesn't come cheap. And you're going to be looking at 50 million probably of that. So that's half the money gone straight away. And then, like you say, once Rice leaves that midfield, you're going to need 2 players to replace Declan Rice. So
I did see reports as well that if Arsenal sign Rice, then West Ham want to sign Paulinho from
Fulham. Wow, yeah, that would be a good signing.
Yeah.
I
can't imagine he'll come cheap though.
No, I think Fulham are on a bit of a madness. I've heard that they're linked with getting Fred from United, and don't get me wrong, I talk about how inconsistent Fred is every single week, but for him to go from Man United to Fulham seems a bit of a crazy move. Like,
he's best mates with Andreas Pereira, though, isn't he?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But that kind of makes sense if Polini is going the other way. He's not an out-and-out DM, but
yeah,
absolutely. We'll move on naturally then from that segment onto transfer talk. So we'll kick off where we just were talking about Arsenal then, Sean. So Declan Rice is the speculative one at the minute. I will throw in that there was a thing with him going to Chelsea, wasn't there? And a lot of people said that the Chelsea links were to link up with his mate Mason Mount, who could be on the way to Man United. So we've got a proper love triangle of transfers potentially going on here. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Declan Rice. I probably expect something to be done by next week. So by the time we're sat down, Declan Rice has probably made a decision on his future. Yeah, what else is going on in the world of Arsenal, mate?
We just signed William Saliba onto a 4-year deal. That is a massive signing for us, because replacing a player of that quality is not going to come cheap. And Reece Nelson as well, which I'm quite impartial to him. I think he's a good player. He's probably not had enough opportunities, but every time he's come on, he's done something with it.
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen on Twitter, there's a lot of rumblings that Mikel Arteta wants a little bit more from him, a little bit more consistency, a little bit more passion and hunger. He's been likened to like a street footballer that needs to learn the men's game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not. Maybe we don't need to sign a new winger, but get rid of Eddie Nketiah, get us a proper striker. And there was also rumours about is it Castagna from
Leicester?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense. He can play left back and right back. Gives you a bit more versatility off the bench. Good deputy for Ben White. And if we allow Kieran Tierney to go, then he can deputise for both of them. But we've been in those positions before, and then we had to buy bloody Cedric. So, yeah, I would just like to have a backup left back and a backup right back. Is that too much to ask?
It's not, to be fair. I don't think it's too much to ask for Arsenal, to be fair. But yeah, from a United side, it's just following Man United transfers is honestly, it's a full-time job. I can't keep up with it. The latest one coming out today, Pickford's linked with us. Obviously, the Mason Mount links continue to rumble on. Harry Maguire's been linked with Tottenham and Chelsea this week on the way out. But this is the thing, and I'm sure if we go back to another episode, I predicted this exact same thing was going to happen. When you look at Liverpool, as you can see pictured, Alexis McAllister, they've got the job done early. They've got a bargain, 35 million for a player like McAllister. I don't think he's a world-class player. I don't think he's a top talent. I don't think they've got him for less than 100 million that he's worth or anything crazy like that. But they've gone out, they've identified the target, they've paid the release clause, they've got the job done, and they've announced it. Aston Villa have gone and done exactly the same with Yuri Tillemans. Identified a player, got him signed down to a contract, and it's done. Man United, oh, we're looking at this, we're making this our priority, now this is our priority, now this, who's going out, who's staying. It's always a mess. We've obviously got the ownership problems hanging over our head at the minute now too, but I'm sorry, if you should have number one targets from February. The contact should be made before the season was anywhere near finished. And we've got our rivals winning the treble. We've got our main rivals going out and signing their main target in an instant, getting ready for the pre-season. And we're just, with our thumbs up our asses, doing nothing. It's just frustrating, and it happens all the time. Like, what's going on? We was meant to have a final announcement on Friday about the ownership of the club. It's suddenly Qatar's come in with the last take it or leave it offer, which again doesn't make sense because they haven't accepted or denied it, and it's still on the table. So not exactly a take it or leave it. Mm-hmm. It's just a mess at United, and the transfer business continues to be poor with our current ownership. So I don't see it even changing with new ownership, to be honest.
So if Man United are in for Jordan Pickford, which is a great signing, I think we said it on this podcast. I think you said he wouldn't get into any top six side currently.
Who's that? Sorry,
so Pickford getting into a top six side. But so that maybe the writing on the wall for De Gea? And if it is, do you think that you'll be quick in from Pickford? I think he cost Everton 30 million when they signed him for Sunderland, and that was a good few years ago.
Yeah,
35 million will be a cheap signing.
I think, yeah, he's only really just recently signed a contract, wasn't it? Was it in the back end of February or early March?
Yeah, something like that.
So whatever the value of his contract is going to be the value it pays to get him. But if he's if they got relegated, I think it would probably be job done. But I don't know. I'm not mad with the link to Pickford, but I don't know. He's an upgrade on De Gea for me. However, he's not comparable to Edison or Allison, who are the best two in the league. So while it's an upgrade, we don't want just a slight upgrade. We want to be getting the players that Man City want, or are of the quality of a Liverpool player, a Man City player, when they're at their very best. He's England's number one, and honestly, he's a demon in an England shirt, and no one can deny it. And I'm trying to think back, was it Everton's last game, or I think it might have been was it Everton-Leicester, their second to last game? And Pickford played out of his skin. He was honestly so good, and he can be on his day, but so can De Gea. Mm-hmm. De Gea can be unplayable sometimes, but then on other times he can pass it to their centre forward 3 times in 10 minutes. So I think he's less mistake prone than De Gea. Upgrade, again, that's very arguable. It's a very malleable kind of, he's a little bit better on this, but a little bit worse on that. But no, I don't know. I don't think that's the right option for United.
Ian is going to go potty if you sign Pickford. I think he even said that how short he is and how small his arms is on one of the analyses.
Yeah, so I know goalkeeper's a different beast, but people spoke about Lisandro Martinez's height and he proved them wrong. I think Pickford's already proven everyone wrong, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I think he deserves to be at a top 6 club. I think he's good enough to play at a top 6 club.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'd be one of the best of them. Personally, I think you should go for David Raya. I think he's good with his feet. He's a good shot stopper. I think he's better than Pickford. He certainly deserves a big move.
He's on course to sign Tottenham. I think there was a tweet earlier today, actually, from Fabrizio Romano, saying that there's been rumblings David Raya to Tottenham. Yeah, Meslier or Melier, however you say it, from Leeds, potentially going to Chelsea as well. I'd rather be linked with Pickford than Melier, let's be honest. I think Melier's not a great keeper at all. He's a downgrade from Kepa for me.
Yeah. But they've got that Edouard Mendy, haven't they? They'll have to sell him. There's no way that he'll be third choice.
I don't know what happened to him. He was, I wouldn't even say arguably the best keeper in the league at one point. I'd say he was right up there in the best keepers in the league, and he's just fallen off.
Yeah. Maybe he loved Roman Abramovich. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. With these players, it's hard to tell, but I like Mendy. I thought he was a good keeper.
Oh, no. He fell off because, do you remember when Man City's Mendy at left back, the newspapers kept reporting it was him, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
And they kept getting their Mendys wrong, and he was also plastered all over the newspapers. And then he just disappeared.
Yeah, we know that a player who was called Mendy and he's black has allegations against him. So let's just pick any Mendy who's black from the Prem. That was awful. That was awful.
Was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to the biggest transfer stories of the week then. Messi retiring, age 35. He went to Inter Miami. They're very similar things. So yeah, when Ronaldo was dominating at Juventus at his age, Messi's gone and retired in... How can I describe the MLS for anyone who's not seen it, which is most football fans, because it's not real good football?
It is the level above women's football.
Cut that. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. The very first thought that came to my head when I saw Messi had gone to Inter Miami was, the first thought was, I am so disappointed that they've just sacked Phil Neville, because never in my life would I imagine Phil Neville managing Lionel Messi.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
And the second one was to that interview that Zlatan did. We've mentioned it on here before, where they was talking about Carlos Vela?
Yeah.
And this interviewer was going, oh, Carlos Vela, he's done this right now. How would you compare yourself to Carlos Vela? He's like, how old is he? What league is he playing in? I played in Europe, mate. Have you not seen it? He understood the assignment, and that was a terrible comparison. And I think that comparison's very similar now. Yeah, he's gone to retire in the MLS. Are you happy or sad about it for football that he didn't go to Saudi Arabia? Because that's the new China, the new fashionable hotspot for football.
I'm glad he didn't go to Saudi Arabia. I've no interest in watching any of these players play in Saudi Arabia. It's not a prestigious league, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I see. I know it's not in the same division. It's not the Saudi league, but Santi Cazorla sat down a goalkeeper twice and then just tapped it in at the weekend. The level of quality over in those types of countries is poor. These players will go there. They will be the best players in the league in their teams,
Yeah.
and they will dominate. So um, I think for America, they've got a good core. That great. They're a great sporting country, but that football isn't their first sport.
I
And I
wouldn't say
think
it's their
once they
second,
realize,
third, or fourth either, is it?
no, you'll have hockey, baseball, American football.
Basketball.
Yeah, probably lacrosse is over there. Um, but if honestly, the athletes that they produce, once they find out that proper football is a high-paying sport and they can
Hmm.
get some mega money from it, and be global superstars, America will dominate, but they just got to cut this hand egg shit thing out.
Yeah.
Stop playing with the pigskin and just go and play proper football.
That's crazy. There's a lot more money in that, though, than you think in the NFL. I never realised. But when you start doing your
Yeah.
research, but have we just got a picture of movies for America? Like, hey, you on the lacrosse team, Chad? Like, is that what
Chad.
is that really what America's like? I imagine it is.
Yeah, just with a bit more shooting.
Are we still talking about football or schools?
Sure, why not?
And Jude Bellingham for Real Madrid, which is probably going to be the biggest transfer of the summer.
Huge.
Yeah, thoughts?
So you've got Camavinga. I always struggle with this guy's name. Tushimeni? How do you pronounce it?
Chouameni?
Something to Yeah. So you've got three of the most hottest, prestigious talents under the age of 25 in your central midfield. These guys are going to play there for a good decade, maybe even longer. You look at Tony Cruz, he's still doing it. Modric is still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? These guys are going to be the next generation of Real Madrid's midfielders. It's good business if they can keep them there for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Great business.
For me, it feels like obviously Modric and Cruz are on the way out. Is that going to be the midfield three playing all together at once? Chouameni, Camavinga, and Bellingham. I've heard speaking of Camavinga playing quite well at left back.
Yeah. I think he's that talented he could do left back. I mean, he's clearly doing it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like it almost paves the way for one of Camavinga or Chouameni to leave.
Ooh.
Like, it's no secret that they're in financial turmoil. They've spent all this big money. So if they can get money back, it makes sense. You'd obviously want all the best midfielders, but if they're not getting consistent first-team football, they're all on the way. Obviously, I'd say Chouameni out of the three of Bellingham, Camavinga, Chouameni is probably the worst. Mm-hmm. And it's horrible to say because he's, a great talent, but is that the case? Like, does one of them have to leave?
I don't think so. I think that they're building a good core of players. And even Tony Cruz, I don't know how old he is, 33, 34, he's starting to get on, isn't he? I watched a video by The Athletic the other day, and he's got like 90-something pass completion percentage in competitive games currently, which Kevin De Bruyne, for example, has got 74. That's a huge difference, and these are progressive passes as well. They're not backwards, sideways passes. Some of these are really intricate, progressive passes. He is probably one of the most underrated players in Europe at the moment.
No, absolutely. I'm very ecstatic for Bellingham because Real Madrid is probably, other than Man City, the best place to be. But it makes me beg the question, why did he not want to go to Man City? Has anything come out about that yet that you know of? There probably is something that I haven't seen, but let's speculate for a minute. Why would you not want to go to Man City? Is there an English club that you want to go to but are not coming in for you right now?
Birmingham.
No, I mean a proper top team.
Well, um,
I mean,
maybe the
Birmingham, he'll go back to Birmingham, right? They've retired his shirt number, for crying out loud.
yeah, maybe the financial charges against Man City. Maybe that's something that they're a bit worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I doubt it because I'm sure they've got some incredible lawyers that are on the case that will bamboozle every legal person that's trying to dispute it. But I was saying, one of my friends, Callum, was talking to me about it the other day. I said, why would Man United not go in for him? That's a perfect signing for him. He can do
Yeah.
the attack, he can do the defence. I don't know, what was it, 100 million or was it 115?
It
Something
was a
like
lot.
that.
It was 100 plus. So with all your add-ons and everything, I think you're looking at in the region of 110, 120. And I'm glad that we weren't looking to get him at the minute. I'd absolutely love him. If he went to a Premier League rival, obviously I'd be devastated. But
Yeah,
I feel like that might be what it is. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he might have gone to Real Madrid because Liverpool wouldn't pay that money, because you've got to think they picked up Gakpo in January. They've got
yeah,
McAllister, who's a midfielder. They need a couple more midfielders. Arguably a Firmino replacement. I don't think they do personally, but you could argue they do. They need to have a look at their defence as well, because Van Dijk's aura isn't going to keep them safe. Joe Gomez, Matip, Robertson's not had his greatest season. So I think they've got other priorities. So I just think it's because Liverpool couldn't come in for Jude. I think
maybe.
he's probably set to go to Liverpool in a couple of years' time.
Possibly. There's a lot of rework at Liverpool once you actually break it down, isn't there?
Yeah, there's their attack's kind of beastie. How long Salah is on top four, I think he still continues to be good, but he's not obviously dominated as he was. But a front three of like Salah, Gakpo, Nunes. Obviously, you've got Jota who can come in, who's definitely second choice by now. Luis Diaz coming back from injuries looked absolutely brilliant since coming back from injury. But yeah, that midfield and that defence needs reinforcing, and I think it needs more. I think quantity over quality for Liverpool is more important. You get three very good midfielders. Don't go spending 100 million on a world-class player. I don't think it's the right move for Liverpool now. But maybe Man United, I don't know. It could be Man United as well. But we'll see. I think I'd say his next destination's between Man United and Liverpool.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Capture this.
Yeah, I want a cut of the agent's fees. Yeah, is there any other obvious transfer talk that I've missed? Any big ones? There's been so many stories throughout the week, I think I've forgotten some of the bigger ones.
I normally try and put them in the when we want to see them.
Yeah, I'll take this quick opportunity to say anyone who is actually currently watching on the YouTube, we have a Discord that's active throughout the week as well. We've got stuff in there about transfers, what's going on, just a general football chat as well. We're going to have some stuff coming up for the fantasy football next year. There'll be prizes up for grabs if you get involved in the Fantasy Premier League. If you finish higher than us, if you win the league, there'll be a prize. Whoever finishes higher or lower out of both of us, the loser's going to have to do a forfeit. And we'll probably let people in the Discord community decide what that's going to be. Yeah, Ben, Kane to United has gone quiet. That is an interesting one. So there was some news. I can't remember if did we cover this last week about his links to Real Madrid or no?
We did, but we thought that he would he'd want to go for the record over any transfer abroad.
That's right. Yeah. Honestly, when it's transfer season, 3 days can feel like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has gone quiet. You're right, actually, and that worries me because Kane is the most obvious and probably best option. I have a feeling it's gone quiet because Man United have gone to Tottenham and said we want Kane, and they've just gone absolutely ballistic and said, 180 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Or he stays at Tottenham. But I don't know. Yeah, it has gone very quiet. Mount, again, went a little bit more quiet. There was a little bit more on him staying at Chelsea this week. But I think the odds remain the same for him to go to United, and the talks are still very much Ten Hag wants him. So, yeah, other than that, if we've missed any stories, let us know. If you want to share your stories with us, transfer stories, like I say, get in the Discord also and let us know.
So Man United are looking at that Kim Min-jae. Southampton's James Ward-Prowse is wanted by Liverpool, apparently. They love a Southampton player to Liverpool.
Yeah, we covered Kim Min-jae last week. I think Newcastle have joined in the, not even the race, but in the interested parties this week. And what was the other one you said? Southampton, Ward-Prowse. Yeah, didn't they put a price tag of 52 million on him or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
Like, behave yourself.
Yeah, he's not going to go for 52 million. He's a good player, good at set pieces, but other than his set pieces, he doesn't really add a huge amount. He's a bit tenacious. He's got a good engine to him.
Is he still 52 million if Southampton are in the Prem?
No, I don't think so. 30 million at a push with some heavy bonuses to get to 30. But I think he's maybe a 20 million pound player because they've been relegated. If he pushes for a move, that is.
You've got to think McAllister was on the sort of cheaper side and he was 35 million. Are you saying he's half the player that McAllister is?
I don't rate McAllister personally. I think they stat pad him with allowing him to take his penalties. But he won a World Cup. What's James Ward-Prowse won? He may want to have the record of most free kick goals in the Premier League. I think he's only one off of Beckham, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. So, yeah, I think he'll want to get back to the Premier League. I think he's a boyhood Southampton fan. Although part of me makes me want to say I think he came through Portsmouth's academy. He's been there for a very long time anyway. So maybe he'll want to get Southampton back to the Premier League. I'm not sure.
Yeah, speaking of Portsmouth's academy, that's what the thing is about Mason Mount. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's Chelsea through and through. He's just that." I mean, he's a Portsmouth fan. What are you talking about? But yeah, that's the end of the transfer talk segment. Then that'll be a regular feature across the next few weeks. That's pretty much all we've got on script, Sean. I say on script. I've not got fucking notes here, so I don't know why I said that. But yeah, we can talk about what's coming up. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about this week, mate, that we've not yet covered?
We've recorded some non-football stuff today, haven't we? And that was good fun.
Yeah, that was really good fun. So obviously, with football, you can only have a certain amount of ideas, and when there's no football actually on to inspire you, we've done some drafts. They seem to be getting some interactions, the drafts on Instagram. People on TikTok and Instagram, they like to see the drafts. I really enjoyed doing them because, how do I excuse me. I don't know how to explain it, but when you watch it back, you think, why did I make that decision?
Yeah.
But then at the time, you're just doing your best. Right, I'm going to have to drink water because I must have swallowed a fly or something. Sean, entertain the chat.
Yeah, so we've recorded some good fun non-footballing drafts today and some top fives. Andy couldn't choose the ones that I had and I couldn't choose the ones he had. Yeah, we had really good fun with it. So I think Andy's almost completely edited it. It sounds like he's dying in the background.
I don't know what happened there. I think there must have been a fly or something. My throat just went dry. But yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, like the drafts we do, I had an absolute stinker today. I won't say which one it was, but I just did absolutely awful.
You did. There was his name in these, and I'm like, what on earth are you doing? Have you done one of these before?
But this is the result of waking up early in the morning to film TikToks. Like, just right, I'm going to wake up, have a coffee, and then we're filming. But that's what I blame. Absolutely sweating my bollocks off in this room. Had to turn the fan off so it wasn't interrupting the mic too much. Paying the price now because we've had British summer for the last 2 days. But yeah, the non-football drafts, I had a lot of fun with them. I'd be interested to see what other creators are doing, trying to get inspiration from them during the off season. What do you do in the off season? Do you watch friendlies or what do you do? There's just transfers to follow, isn't there?
There's just nothingness. I like it when there's a tournament in the summer. Thank you, Qatar. But I'm not going to watch cricket. The Le Mans was on yesterday. I watched a little bit of that today.
Yeah.
My friend Jordan's a good fan of that, and he was keeping me up to date, giving me all the names and the teams, and I'm just like, car goes around track. I know
Yeah.
nothing about this.
I've never been into Formula One or any of that stuff, but
Yeah.
I'd seen a lot of clips of the Le Mans race because wasn't it really slippery and people were just spinning out all over the place. And everyone was saying it's just like an actual online lobby of like some racing game of people just slipping all over the place.
It was good fun. Yeah, it's good to see the cars, and my lads are there going, are we going to watch this for any longer? It's like, it's a 24-hour race. When's it over? I don't know. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I don't know when it started, so we'll see. Bless them. But yeah, like Sean said, the TikTok stuff, we keep churning that out. We always welcome any ideas. So if there's anything you want to see, let us know. The best way to let us know is by joining the Discord. The link to that is in the description. You can follow us across all of our social medias. Links are all in the description. We still need to round up the YouTube series by picking out Ultimate 11 of our combined 11s. And yeah, we'll just see what the future brings. What else can we say?
Give us some suggestions and we'll do them.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't involve being naked and fire.
They are a good. Yeah, we'll stick to that. No fire, no nudity. Thank you.
Yeah, health and safety haven't been onto us yet. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Ben Ray said it can't be as bad as Sean's West Ham stinker.
The West Ham stinker. What was my West Ham stinker?
Well, you had to guess the transfer to West Ham players, didn't you?
Oh God, that was awful.
I think
that the worst one? No, there was a worse one than that.
The worst one you had was the oldest players, where you said Milner, which was right, Dunk, which was wrong, and then you just didn't speak. You forgot how to speak.
And then 55 seconds of silence.
Yeah. I was sitting there and I let it get down to like 20 seconds and I'm like, Sean, say names. What was that? Who was that darts commentator when they did the do you watch the darts at all?
I'm not. No, football is pretty much it.
It was the world final, wasn't it? The world championship final where they was both on at the same time for a 9-darter and one of them missed it. And then the other hit it. And the commentators went absolutely ballistic. And he was like, I can't speak. I can't speak. Ben Ray says, naked paintball firing range.
Ooh.
I'm going to say I'm not doing that again because...
Yeah, I've seen the bruises that you had. Was it your birthday or something? And everybody just shot you?
So it wasn't my birthday one. I don't think. I can't remember because I'm sure we went to paintballing twice. One was for my 21st birthday, but I have a feeling this was the first time we went, and that was before. So essentially, the story was we went paintballing. We got there, we paid the price, and obviously, this was when I was working delivering pizzas for Domino's, right? I wasn't making a load of money. I had enough money to go to paintball. And there was like, yeah, it's X amount for 100 paintballs. I can't remember what the price was back then. I was like, fucking hell, like, I've just rifled through 100 paintballs in about 30 seconds. So I was working out in my head how much this is going to cost me to have fun and conserve ammo. And I was just like, nah, I'm going to need more than this. This isn't going to be enjoyable. So someone said something about the price and they said, how else can we get paintballs? And he goes, well, depends. I had one lad last week who did a firing squad naked and everyone shot at him and we paid for his paintballs for the rest of the day. And I don't know if this was company policy or whether the guy running the paintballing just had a fetish for young lads getting naked and getting shot at. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, that sounds cheaper than like £9 for 100 balls, whatever it was. I was like, I'll do it. And then I just thought it was a joke. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And he goes, yeah, okay, then when should we do it? And I was like, Well, I've just said in front of all of my friends that I'm going to do it. I'm not backing out now. So we waited until after lunch, which was very generous of him. And it's a very clever marketing strategy because once you've been rifled at so many times with paintballs, you don't want to carry on. So you don't use any paintballs. And the organisers of paintballing have just run off and sorted their boner out while a young lad gets shot at and not had to pay out these paintballs. And yeah, it hurt more than I expected, but I couldn't back down. I accepted the challenge. I took my punishment like a man, and I couldn't back down.
So did you just sit it out for the rest of it?
Yeah, pretty much just, I didn't even get a chance to sit it out. I stood it out. I followed everyone around. Everyone was having fun, and I was just there, just like burning. Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt. But yeah, that was a nice memory. Ben Ray says it's one of his favourite memories, maybe.
Was he in the back with the marshals when they were sorting their boners out?
He was one of the ones with the gun pointing at me amongst 11 others.
So he shot you. Wow.
Yeah. How dare you do this to me, Ben? But yeah, I'll get the video. I'm going to actually post the video in the Discord at some point. You just have to remind me because I always forget. And yeah, relive the pain.
Nice.
You ever been paintballing?
Yeah, I got shot in the head. I peeked my head out, and as I've done that, I realised that is it called a hopper? It's the hopper that's on. Yeah. So as I peeked my head out, I realised that my hopper's on the side, and all my balls had fallen out onto the floor.
Oh yeah.
So as I've gone like that, I've just gone bang, and I'm like. And with that, I've dropped the whole gun, and all of the balls are on the floor now. It's even worse. So I'm trying to pick them up and put them back in, and the marshal's gone, "Can't put them in there, covered in mud, mate. It'll jam the gun." And I'm like, "But that's like 15 quid's worth of paintballs."
Yeah. Was it Alamo paintball in Whittlesea? Not to call them out on the screen, but
It was Alamo, but it was over in Thetford.
I can't even remember which one it was.
It was good fun. I won a game with there was a giant, massive football that you'd had to drag to the other goal, and the ball's right in the centre of it. I won that. All of our team got shot, and I shot the last one on their team. I had to drag that. I had to drag this ball so bloody far, and it was a wet, cold day, so this ball is like soaking wet. It's awful.
Ben was an evil genius. He was the one saying shoot the fingers so you drop the tray. So I just had a little tiny tea tray covering my meat and 2 veg, right? That was protecting the assets. And Ben's like, shoot it out of his hands. What the fuck? That's just evil genius. Right, so enough about naked boys getting shot at with paintballs. We'll wrap it up there so I can get this bloody fan back on and cool down, get a cup of tea, get ready for bed. And yeah, we'll be back next week for the pod, episode 33. And yeah, just if you haven't done so already, keep an eye on the TikTok for the new content on there. Quizzes, games, play along, see if you can do better than us, which you probably will. And I test anyone, challenge me on my top 5 condiments, my top 5 sauces, the top 5 game shows. Come at me. I want the abuse because I know you're going to be wrong. Thank you very much as always, Sean, and see you next week, mate.
See you next week.
Never meant to say sorry. Prefiero llamarme cuando quieres descubrir.